Whickham Past and Present. Whickham is a small residential town, combined with village charm, overlooking the River Tyne to the north, with the rivers Derwent to the west and Thames to the east. Until the 1950s, the village remained mainly rural, with coal mining providing much employment. Wickham has some of the finest views overlooking Newcastle, and a location that offers easy access to the wonderful countryside of Northumberland and Durham. Let us now go backwards in time. People have lived in the Whickham area for over 4,000 years. This has been proved by finds of axe heads, flints and ancient pottery. There is also evidence at Marshall Land's farm that there was a Roman fort here. The village used to be called Quickham, as was discovered from old documents from 800 years ago. Quickham, an Anglo-Saxon name meaning a village with a quick-set hedge, was first mentioned in the Bolden Book of 1183. Coal mining was very important in the development of Whickham, and from the early 1300s, coal production dominated the area until the early 1960s. The other main occupation was farming. This is the oldest building in Whickham, the beautiful Church of St. Mary the Virgin. It lies in the centre of this conservation area, where there are many listed buildings. But we will start just beyond the eastern boundary, where the old Turnpike Road, now Whickham Highway, meets the road from Dunston. In a field at the top of Dunston Bank, we see that all that remains of the magnificent beech tree, which was seriously damaged by the high winds of January 2005. We now come to Dunston Hill House. This house was bought in 1704 from the Shaftos by the Carr family. In 1870, Ralph Carr married Hannah Ellison, a wealthy landowner. The family name became Carr-Ellison on the succession to the Ellison estates. Dunston Hill House remained in the Carr-Ellison family until 1904, when it became the Newcastle Pensions Hospital. This picture shows the east face of Dunston Hill House, which is now being converted into residential apartments. On then to the stable block and the carriage house. These are also being converted into dwelling. Site is being developed for housing. Moving on, we come to the modern Dunston Hill Hospital. Quite a change from the old wooden walls built to accommodate wounded soldiers in World War I. A little further up the highway is Dunston West Farm. It was part of the Dunston Hill estate and was so called because it lies west of Dunston. Thomas Easy, a gentleman farmer, lived at the farmhouse and was famous for winning 2 races on the same horse on one day at Blaydon Races. It is a Grade II listed building and is now a popular riding school. Located on Whickham Highway opposite the police station is a house called Blackthorn, with 2 rather curious gateposts. These were originally the gateposts of Lang Jack's cottage at Clockburn, Lonnon. The posts were given to the present owner in 1970 and are probably the only remaining part of his cottage. Close by is Pink House, the home of Gunny Willis in the 1920s and 30s. On Sunday evenings she would open up her front room to sell sweets and lemonade to passers-by who made the regular evening stroll after church from the village to the top of Carr's Bank, now Dunston Bank. Another well-established building of special interest is Beach House. It was originally a boarding school for boys, attended by the First Lord Armstrong and the sons of the Carr-Ellison family, notably Henry Byrne Carr, who was rector of Whickham from 1846 and served for 50 years. Next we come to East Lodge, a small stone-built cottage which has been extensively renovated in recent years. It was originally a gatehouse for the newly built Whickham Hall, now known as Whickham Lodge. The building, an 18th century mansion built by John and Francesca Barras in 1740, was originally set in 19 acres of parkland. John's hobby was brewing ales, and this was done in the cellar of Whickham Hall. It eventually turned into a small business, and local customers who visited to drink at the hall began calling it the Wags. Rather interestingly, the cellar below Whickham Lodge still remains as it was over 250 years ago. The Barras brewing business expanded over the years, eventually opening the Tyne Brewery in Bath Lane, Newcastle. In 1890, the Newcastle Breweries was formed, an amalgamation of 5 brewing companies, including the Barras Brewery. This formed the 5 points of the world-famous logo, the Blue Star. Could it be said the Newcastle Brewery really started in Whickham Lodge all those years ago? In the cellar there is a bricked-up entrance to a tunnel that runs from the lodge to Dockendale Hall with branches to the Bay Horse Inn and on to the rectory. The Barras family were revered as great benefactors of the Whickham community until John Wesley, the founder of Methodism, held a mass meeting at the foot of Broom Lane in 1752, preaching against the evils of alcohol and the brewing of ale. This large property is now divided into separate homes. Now cross the road into Duckpool Lane, which dates back to the 1800s. It was probably named after a pond frequented by ducks from a nearby farm. Further down the lane we come to a row of 19th century cottages. It is here a wagon wain ran, with wains transporting coal which had passed through Whickham Hall estate to the Staithes for shipping out from the Tyne. A little further along Whickham Highway, at the corner of Dockendale Lane, is Toll House. This is reputed to have been one of many toll houses situated along the old Turnpike Road, which ran from Gateshead, up Lobley Hill, through Whickham, down Swalwell Bank and on to Hexham. Dockendale Lane is an interesting area. Here the road reverts to the original cobbles, leading to the rear of Dockendale Hall and the old farm stables. This area is probably the only remaining cobbled road in Whickham. Dockendale Hall is thought to be one of the oldest residential areas in Whickham. Cromwell is reputed to have stayed here for 2 nights in 1648 on his way to Scotland. In 1760, a woman who lived here purchased an old bureau at a sale in the Blacksmith's Arms, Blaydon. She paid 4 shillings and 6pence, that's 22.5 pence in today's currency. Unable to carry the bureau home, she had enlisted help of a local handyman. When she got it home, she discovered a considerable amount of gold hidden in the bureau, and to keep her helper quiet, she gave him 200